High school sports, we've got it covered. Overtime starts now.
Hello and welcome to Overtime. I'm Scott Leber.
And I'm Drew Collins. The final Friday night of the regular season is over, and now all the eyes turn to the playoffs.
We're going to look at the teams who got off the bubble and got into the postseason tonight. We'll also have champions in all four of our local conferences.
We'll have all of that covered, plus our spotlight story on a Boylan Titan who landed a Division I college offer by becoming one of the best long snappers in the nation. It took all 9 weeks of the regular season and one very big game tonight to put a bow on the NIC-10 Conference Championship race. Could Belvidere North take home the glory by leading the conference wire to wire?
Or could the Harlem Huskies bump B North to the side and claim a piece of the championship? It is the Gillies Heating and Air Conditioning Game of the Week. Belvidere North was 8-0 coming in. Harlem was 7-1. The Huskies also had 7-1 Guilford pulling for them tonight. So this game was huge for three teams. First quarter, Harlem and Braxton Fawcett dumping it off to Finn Stovall, the NIC-10's MVP in baseball. Came out for the team in midseason and makes a big catch there. Ladarius Foster then gets the handoff. He's up the middle. Nice run there for Foster. He's not done. Moments later, Foster from a yard out. He fights in there for the first touchdown of the game. Now, we saw a whole lot of Eric Roman and Ben Bucher on offense tonight for North, more than usual because it was a big game. Here's Roman with a strong run in the first half. And then it would be Bucher's turn. Watch Bucher get the pitch, waits on his block very nicely there, and then he'll do the rest. And here comes that Bucher salute, the first one of the night for a Bucher TD. 7-7 in the second quarter. Fawcett, though, comes back and connects with LeBron McClellan there. Those two are clicking tonight. Big play here, 4th and goal from the 4 for Harlem. Fawcett keeps it, but there is who else? Number 20, Eric Roman, all over him. No points for Harlem. That was huge. North and Andrew Bucci then going to the air. Cooper Zarowski has it, and he'll take it across midfield. We are still in the second quarter. North at the 2. That's Bucci territory, and he does take it in from there for a 14-7 North lead at halftime. Start of the third quarter, Harlem kicks off, and this was huge. Antoine Williams has it for the return. Looks like they had him stop, but Williams just does not give up. Cuts it back. He's going to take it out by midfield. So North grabbing the momentum right away at the start of the third quarter. Then it's going to be Bucci rolling, throwing. He's got Xavier McElroy for another touchdown. North led it 21-7. But once again, Harlem's going to answer. Fawcett has LeBron McClellan over the middle, and he is gone. So this was still a game in the third quarter, 21-14 North. But again, North came right back. It's Bucci on the keeper. He's got a huge run. He's got one man to beat, Jackson Cook, and Cook will catch him inside the 10. That set up a touchdown. Ben Bucher later ripped off a 60-yard TD. North defeated Harlem 42-14. The Blue Thunder had their first outright NIC-10 championship. All right, let's talk about this one with our NIC-10 analyst, Tim Bailey. Tim, where did Belvidere North win this game?
Well, they run in the trenches. I mean, what they did offensively and put on a great offensive display tonight against a really good team in Harlem, really good defensive Harlem as well. But what they were able to do offensively, really establishing that run game and then continuing to pound the ball on the ground and picking up some really tough yards. As you see here, this young man tonight, Eric Roman, he had a phenomenal job. But all those 11 guys on offense did a phenomenal job of opening up gaping holes for these backs to get through, such as Bucci, Bucher, and Roman. They just had a sensational night.
We don't have the final stats yet, but I'm guessing they had over 300 yards as a team.
For sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and Harlem's offense moved the ball well much of the night, but North's defense, stiffened up when it had to and held the Huskies to only 14 points. Eric Roman was right in the middle of that, and I think that we would all expect that at this point. Yeah,
absolutely. He was beast mode tonight. He was running sideline to sideline, making big stops, making big plays when he needed to make plays. Again, guys, it's playoff time right now, and I think these guys wanted to come out tonight and really show the conference, hey, we're the NIC-10 champs, and they did it at home. Congratulations to Belvidere North on winning the NIC-10 championship. But again, what they did on defense was stellar.
A guy who made some big plays tonight for Harlem was Finn Stovall. He did not come out for the football team initially because he's a baseball guy, but then he decided to, and we saw him make some nice plays before he got dinged up at the end of the third quarter. Hopefully he's healthy for the playoffs, but How much of a factor could he be for Harlem?
I think he can be that next threat. He can complement Cook. He can complement McClellan. I think he can actually be that third receiver in their offense that they actually run. They run a really good offense. I just think right now they need other guys to step up, and I think they found this young man in Stovall tonight to be that X factor moving into the playoffs.
He gives them that nice kind of underneath pass route, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've analyzed the play of Braxton Fawcett all season long, so why stop now? What did you think of the sophomore quarterback tonight?
I think he did well. Scott and I had a conversation on the sideline, and we were talking about just how poised he is, how calm he stays in the pocket. He doesn't really get rattled a whole lot. But I think, as the weeks progress, again, he's just got to really get better, with what he does on the ground. He's not really a good running quarterback. We know where his talent lies, and that's his arm strength. His arm talent is there. But again, if you're going to run a kid like that, you got to make sure that that person that's actually running can actually run. He can move. So that's probably one big thing I saw tonight, just his inability to really escape from the pocket.
All right, kudos to all three of us, because in the preseason, we all picked Belvidere North to win the conference.
Yeah.
We nailed it. So, hey, congrats to the Blue Thunder on its first outright conference championship. Tim, the Blue Thunder, just who we thought they were, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, again, this is what championship teams do. They rise to the occasion. I think they knew tonight, at home, become, Nick 10 champs at home. I mean, you rarely see teams in our conference win the Nick 10 championship at home. So again, kudos to Belvidere North. Congratulations to Coach Beck and his staff on getting it done. And those players over there, hey, you guys did your thing, man. Congratulations.
They were ready tonight. They were.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we will have more with Tim and more on the Nick 10 a little bit later. Up next, big Northern action from Bago and North Boone.
And who's celebrating an NUIC championship tonight? We'll head to Stockton and to Lena. Well, it's never easy going undefeated during an entire regular season, and it's definitely not easy doing it in the tough NUIC.
That's exactly what the Stockton Blackhawks were trying to do tonight. In previous weeks, they've defeated Lena Winslow, EPC, and DuPec. Tonight, they had to get past playoff-bound Forreston. Stockton came out looking like the state favorites in 1A. They run it in around a junior, Carter Blair. He stops on the dime and fights for a few more yards. At the goal line, it is nearly impossible to stop this Stockton front. They hand it off to Mark Detweiler, and he dives in for the touchdown. They will go for two, and they will get to. Quarterback Noah Larson keeps it, and he will stroll in for the conversion. On the next drive, they go right back down the field. Watch this. Jack Mezendijk takes on a group of Cardinals, and somehow he breaks out of the block party and finds the end zone. Great effort by Mezendijk. Stockton goes for another conversion. This time they toss it to Carter Blair, and he delivers the boom and 2 more points. Stockton beats Forreston 44-6.
Very impressive.
Over in Lena, it felt like a playoff battle between the Panthers and the DuPec Rivermen. Aiden Wild set an NUIC single game record last week with 8 touchdowns, and he was ready to go again tonight. Here's the second play of the game. Alex Schlichting, aka the fastest man in the state line, follows his 6'1", 265-pound lineman, Gannon Dunker. And look at the open field. He goes all the way for the score. Lucas Rossow flashed the arm talent tonight. DuPec runs play action, and he has Brady Moore on the reception. And they go right back to the air. Rossow has a nice throw on the run, and Cooper Hamilton lowers the shoulder to grab 6 points. This one was tied at 6 at the end of the first quarter. On Lee Wynn's second drive, they lean on big ol' Aiden Wild. Wild had 200 yards and 3 TDs. That's 11 touchdowns in 2 games. That's pretty wild if you ask me. And they finish the drive with another Alex Schlichting touchdown as Lee Wynn takes this one all the way 40-20. Also in NUIC, EPC defeats Dakota 59-22. Galena defeats Fulton 26-7. And Ottawa Marquette defeat Morrison 66-23.
These are the NUIC teams that we will see in the playoffs. 6 of them, Stockton, Lena Winslow, and DuPec, plus 3, 5, and 4 teams most likely will be in Forreston, EPC, and Galena. In the Big Northern Conference, Stillman Valley was on the playoff bubble going into this game at Winnebago. Cardinals, Caden Ghosh running to the outside. He's got some space out there and a blocker in front of him. And that works nicely for the Cardinals. Here he comes. Couldn't take it the distance, but that's a heck of a play. That's about a 50-yard pick up there. Bryson Batch going to get the pitch next. And he will make it into the end zone for the first points of the night. That's what the Cardinals needed. Now on the kick return, Nolan Hogden showing some really good athleticism for Bago, avoiding tackles. Look at that move there. And he will go all the way. 90-plus yards, not quite all the way. They needed a couple more, and they get it right there. Cooper Larson finding his way in from 5 yards out. Bago spoils things for Stillman Valley, winning at 51-25. Well, going undefeated in the regular season, quite an achievement. Yeah. So think about what an achievement it is to do that 3 consecutive years.
The Byron Tigers went 9-0 2 years ago. They went 9-0 last year. Tonight, they were going for 9-0 again in Poplar Grove, and Tyler Sorensen was there. Hi, Tyler.
Yeah, hi guys, and that's right. The North Boone Vikings were one team standing between Byron and another clean sweep in the regular season. But North Boone is no slouch, as the Vikings clinched a playoff berth last week. But all Byron needs is one play to score, and you can see that here as Caden Constantine takes the pitch and takes it all the way to the house on a 50-plus yard run. But hey, sometimes Byron doesn't even offensive play to put points on the board, as North Boone gets a punt after 4 and out, and it gets tipped on the catch by Andrew Talbert, who then picks it up and says, "Excuse me," as he houses this one as well, as he takes it all the way, avoiding one man to man. That man is fun to watch. Now, following drive for the Vikings, trying to find something on offense, but wait a second, here comes the tip drill for Byron as it gets intercepted by J.J. Edmondson. And hey, like I said, one play later, why not air it out as Talbot tosses it to Landon Bonvalet with no one around him, waltzing it into the end zone himself. By the way, guys, that all happened in the first quarter. But now finally jumping into the second quarter, Byron continues their dominance, airing it out once again to Landon up the seam. And this game will be 55-0 at halftime as Byron handles North Boone 61-7. Now in total, Byron scored 7 touchdowns before halftime, with almost all the drives having either 1 or 2 plays. I truthfully think this team could be destined to win another state championship this year. Guys, back to you.
All right, that's just what we're used to from Byron right there. All right, thank you, Tyler. Also in the Big Northern, Dixon defeated Genoa Kingston 58-20. Lutheran defeated Rock Falls 22-16. Congrats, Crusaders, on the win. And in a non-conference game, Oregon falls to Dwight 41-8. So 4 teams from the Big Northern are playoff bound. Byron with its perfect record, Dixon at 8-1, Oregon and North Boone at 5-4.
The Rochelle Hubs are playoff bound. They won their 5th game last week. Tonight they went for another win at home against Waterloo, Illinois, from well south of St. Louis. We'll jump to the opening drive for Rochelle. Just gave it right to the big fellow Roman Villalobos, who gets a good chunk of yards before getting tackled down. Following a Rochelle fumble, a low snap for Conrad Lindhorst. As he keeps it, he gets gobbled up by the Rochelle defense. First hit was by Gavin Neely. 3rd down, Lindhorst throws it over to his receiver, but check out the hit by Rochelle's Mark Green. The ball would stay in Waterloo territory, and you know it's only a matter of time before Rochelle gets into the end zone, and that's Tyler Gensler doing just that, taking it to the house. Rochelle takes this one 27-6. In 8-man football tonight, West Carroll defeats Hiawatha 43-26. Polo beats South Beloit 70-42. River Ridge defeats Christian Life 46-8. Aldine Hebron defeats AFC 26-8. Amboy defeats West Central 54-14. And now it's time to reveal our Athlete of the Week.
Athlete of the Week is brought to you by McCloskey, Kessler and Associates. Our finalists this week were Belvidere North's offensive line, Auburn fullback linebacker Peter Ezeagulu, Lena Winslow fullback Aiden Wild, and Orangeville running back Hayden Schofield.
And the winner is the Belvidere North offensive line. More than 1,200 votes were placed. Belvidere North won with 57% of them. Congrats to the big boys up front for the Blue Thunder. We have our spotlight story on Boylan's long snapping specialist Gabe Vernetti coming up next.
But next, more highlights from the NIC 10 and a look at the playoff picture for the NIC 10.
Earlier, we saw Harlem and Belvidere North battling it out for the NIC 10 championship. Guilford was a third part of that championship picture.
The Vikings had only the one conference loss going into this final week, and they wanted to keep that way at home against Boylan. Vikings football early on, Grayson Weber looking for Messiah Tilson. Tilson's got it. Trying to put some moves on, and he's out of bounds with it. Next play, Weber looking for his other big target. Literally big, Keeson Taylor. Looked like he had it, but it gets taken away by the Titans' Leonidas English for the turnover. That was a heck of a defensive play. Guilford next possession. Chris Porter finds a hole. Chris Porter runs with determination as always. 37 yards for that TD for Mr. Porter. Vikes again on offense. How about the passing game again? Weber going to throw the deep one to yet another weapon. That's actually Messiah Tilson coming our way. Tilson is going to take it all the way on down for another touchdown. Guilford defeats Boylan 52-7.
Over at Hononegah, the Indians hosted Belvidere. We'll start with the Bucks QB Jackson Sternquist with the trick play, gives it to Devon Embry. Then Embry sends the ball all the way down to Demetrius Taborn, and the Bucks have the first down. Next we have Belvidere's Nicholas Alvarez. He makes a run for it, but he gets thrown out of the bounds by Jack Ginter and other Hano defenders. Belvidere keeps it on the ground, but the Hano defense gets another stop. Emerson Gantz does a nice job clogging the running lane. And then we have Sternquist going back to his guy Taborn, and Demetrius, of course, will make the catch. And he goes all the way to the 20-yard line before being pushed out of bounds. Belvidere upsets Hononegah 8-6. And the other Nickton game tonight, East defeated Freeport 28-20.
All right, ERAB's getting their first win. How about that? And how about Belvidere upsetting Hononegah? Well, these are the Nick 10 teams in the playoffs. Half the conference, Belvidere North, Harlem, and we're looking at the standings here. Belvidere North, Guilford, then Harlem at 7-2, Hano, Jefferson at 5-4. All of those teams in the playoffs right now.
Tim, we've got 5 Nick 10 teams in the playoffs. What do you think of the chances of a couple of these teams going a few rounds deep, or maybe even farther than that?
I think those top 3 teams that we just highlighted here, Belvidere North, Guilford, and Harlem, I think they have the best shot of really making some noise in the playoffs based on their record. It's playoff time. You know, I mean, what you did in the Nick 10, yeah, it's great, it's fine and dandy, but, you know, it's on to what big boys do, and that's trying to win state championships.
Jefferson got the win last night, so let's throw them some flowers. How happy are you for that program and what they've done?
I'm ecstatic. I'm very happy for Coach Kazaza and his staff for what they did over there. I think this is just the beginning of the era, of the Kazaza era over there. You know, again, what he's been able to do in his time, his short stint over there at Jefferson, nothing short of sensational, guys.
All right. Well, folks, you can get more in-depth Nick 10 football information from Tim on the Bailey Pod. You can find a new episode on YouTube every Thursday. This week, Tim is joined by Harlem coach Jim Morrow, Belvidere North coach Jeff Beck, and myself.
Tim, thanks. We'll see you again next week
Appreciate
with some playoff football.
Looking forward to it.
All right, up next, we have our Spotlight feature story.
A Boylan Titan who has discovered that football is a snap. The most overlooked position on any football team, but one of the more important positions is the long snapper. Boylan has not one of the only best long snappers in the state line, but one of the best in the entire country in Gabe Vernetti. That's tonight's Spotlight segment brought to you by Rockford Career College. Special teams make special plays, and it all starts with one position, the long snapper. Long snapping is one of, if not the most overlooked positions in all of sports. But it is a vital position to tack on extra points, score field goals, and allow punters time to set up their defense with a good kick. Only a few players in high school, college, and the pros can consistently snap the perfect ball. But one player in the state line is so good at it, he will be snapping at the next level. Meet Boylan's Gabe Vernetti. He's the #1 ranked long snapper in the state and the 26th in the entire country. Gabe also plays center and defensive tackle for Boylan.
So I started long snapping when I was young. It was like the first thing that my dad taught me how to do besides playing center. And this year I realized I want to play college football anywhere. It doesn't matter where. And I started taking it serious this year and going to ranking camps.
Many collegiate scouts don't travel across the country for special team players. So many of those players have to travel to the team. Gabe went to many camps showing his skills.
My first time going to one was in Chicago in January. And I charted the worst score in like the history there. So from there they have a national camp in Tennessee, and it's everybody gets the invite through there. There's a lot of kids there. I think there was close to 300 snappers there. That was my 5th camp, and by that time I was a 4.5 star, and I was 50th in the country, and that's when I got number 1 in Illinois and 26th in the country.
When people think about the difficulty and degree of many positions across the football team, the technique and mechanics are arguably even more difficult as a long snapper.
So there's a lot of different things. It's kind of like you go to a certain trainer and you could go to another trainer and they'll teach you 2 different things. It's all preference and it's all physics too. It's all how you're holding your hands on the ball, how the ball spins. If the ball spins more, it's faster, and you want to keep it on a flat angle. The one thing I always tell people is if they don't know the long snapper's name, they're doing a good job.
Vernetti will find himself as a North Dakota State Bison next season, and he plans on turning his passion and hard work into his dream career.
I do see myself getting to the NFL one day, and that's my motivation, is being there, and that's where I want to get to from North Dakota State.
Being a long snapper just might be the fastest way to the NFL because so few people can do it so well.
Every time we see a field goal kick or extra point go through the uprights, it always starts with the long snapper. And if he doesn't do his job, the points don't happen. We'll be right back.
It's time for our Napleton Auto Group play of the night.
The top play caught on our cameras. Let's head back to North Boone. The Vikings against Byron. North Boone with the punt here. Andrew Talbert back for the return. Cannot field it cleanly, but hey, this is Andrew Talbert, folks. He can easily clean up his own miscues, and he is going to blow by North Boone's coverage team and take it to the house. Save some of those for the playoffs, Andrew. That's the Napleton Auto Group play of the night. Hey, we're going to be right back here on Fox 39 again next week with Overtime. It's possible Fox could have Game 6 of the World Series if the World Series goes that long. And if that is the case, then we will likely be on after that. We will keep you posted.
And a reminder, you can find highlights and scores anytime on our website, mystateline.com. That does it for this show.
Thanks for watching and enjoy your weekend.